So we got 3 acts in this section, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 3 acts going to come on. Lucy Holbrook's going to come on first, entertainer. Make it feel very welcome on 3. Start the round of applause. 1, 2, 3, go! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Lucy Holbrook.
I'm quite laid back. I'm always amazed how dramatic people get about their own jobs. I work in an office. Does anyone else share my luck? Similar enthusiasm. For those who don't, what it essentially means is that I'm going to say we are surrounded by a huge number of colleagues who genuinely believe that unimportant things are crucial. I said to one guy, "Can I get some detail on that account? I've got to make a phone call. Is it urgent?" It's admin. In what situation could that ever be urgent? But everything has to seem frantic and everyone's desperate to appear manically busy. There's no longer time in the modern workplace to get a coffee. Way too slovenly. You have to grab a coffee. Emails don't get sent, they get fired off. You can't even go to a meeting anymore. You have to dash to a meeting. And if you really want to convey importance, you've got a meeting that you need to dive into. I was in a meeting that someone referred to diving into. I thought, I wonder what that looks like. Exactly the same as when they go to a meeting. Just with preceding ego. And meetings now, they no longer just finish early. If everything's done before the end, the organizer will make the sweeping declaration that they are going to give you some time back. Even in meetings become chance for godlike behaviour. And some people seem to thrive on making themselves busy. The woman I work with will send me an email. As the email arrives, so does she. To tell me, I've just sent you an email. She then proceeds to read it out loud to me. From my screen. Like an office audio book. Could have saved yourself a bit of time there, Janet. If you'd opted for either a visit or an email, wouldn't be quite so busy. But there's always the danger that freeing up time enables more pointless conversation. Now, I have a naturally miserable face. If it's not in use, it looks like thunder. I'd hoped this would be enough to deter the unnecessary chat, but apparently not. The worst are those who have nothing to say but tell me anyway. The one who claims to be crazy busy, yet still thinks I need to hear a full commentary of last night's choice of films. And there is a choice of films every night, because this guy's a science fiction fan. And they don't bore easily. Now, I could never get engrossed by anything that couldn't be real. I'm too practical and pragmatic, and I can't really help it. I just come from that type of family. I'll give you an example. When I was born, my gran was already quite old. So by the time I was old enough to want to get her a Christmas present, she was ancient. So Mum and Dad sat me down in December for a conversation. So, your gran, she is quite elderly. She's quite frail. She's not in the best of health. Basically, we think it's going to be her last Christmas. Just buy her perishables. If you really want to get her something to keep, make sure you like it yourself. Because you'll probably have it back by Easter. That kind of helpfulness. Now, as it happens, my gran lived for 18 years after I was born, so this became more of a festive tradition than an accurate forecast, but they thought they were being useful. Luckily, I did follow their advice on the perishables as well, because if I'd wanted something back, that would have been a disappointingly long wait. But coming from this background where it's just to the point, there's no messing or no pretense, also means that monsters and aliens are never really going to work for me. And this guy at work knows this, but he will not give up. He's convinced the only reason I don't like science fiction is because I haven't seen the right film yet. Oh, Lucy, I saw one last night I think you'd like. Is it science fiction? Yes. Well, I'll stop you there. Do you know him? Oh no, this one's different. You'll like this one, it's a classic. All he means by classic is it's in black and white and it involves latex. It's still a ridiculous storyline with zero character development. And this guy's quite hard to avoid because he sits near the door. And unfortunately, he sits next to the equally dull woman who every morning insists on giving us a daily rundown of last night's lasagna and the fact that her child had a yoghurt and her child had a bath, like it does every single night. I mean, to be fair to her, when she joined, she tried to seem more interesting by giving herself a nickname. Hi, I'm Rachel, but you could call me Pixie. Why? You're the only Rachel in the whole company. We don't need to. And Pixie sounds quite fun, which proved not to be the case when the bedtime update started and never really stopped. There's quite a lot of child talk at work. Well, there's quite a lot of child talk outside of work actually as well now, because I've now hit that point where friends have either got young kids or, as they feel compelled to tell me, are trying for a baby. Oh, right, you're just having unprotected sex then. I don't really need to know that. I suppose if I wanted to, I could retrospectively work it out in a few months' time when you start avoiding pate and mayonnaise and any hint of fun. I don't like children. For the same reason I'm not a huge fan of ornaments. I just don't like things that don't serve a purpose. Although I think a couple of my friends would disagree with that, because I'm pretty sure the only reason they had babies was to give themselves something to talk passive-aggressively to their partners through. What's that? Are you thinking it's strange that Mummy always does the washing up and Daddy never helps? What's that face for? Are you confused as to why Daddy hasn't just painted the spare room when he said he would for the last 6 weeks? I didn't really know what to do when they started doing this, so I just joined in. What's wrong? Are you wondering why Daddy now looks so old and bored and has developed a sudden interest in long-distance running? It actually worked far better than I could have ever planned, because now I only get invited around when the kids are out the way in bed. I do still have to put up with the parent talk, though. One of my friends has already completely forgotten what it's like to be child-free, and she expects sympathy, things that just don't matter. She was fretting that her child might not pass its next development phase, because although it can sit up, it can't wave. Why would you fret about that? And if you did fret about that, why on earth would you tell me? Can't wave? Well, I've never met an adult that can't wave, so I'm sure they all crack it eventually. Would it do a thumbs up in the meantime if it's the problem? Whatever happens, please fight the urge to ever give me an update. But then this is the same friend who previously asked me to vote for it in a baby model competition. Now, I'm sure it will develop more of a face. Currently, it just looks like every generic baby is. Quite greasy, a bit cross-eyed. Essentially featureless. Certainly nothing to be voting for. Someone at work last week said, "Oh, Jane's had a baby, we're still waiting for a photo." We're not. Sarah sent one last year. We could just use that. I'm Lucy. You've been brilliant. Thank you.
Lucy Holbrook, ladies and gentlemen.